Hello, and welcome to my class. In this lecture, I like to talk about adding fractions with unlike denominators. For example, let's say we have 3/4 plus 1/16. The first thing we need to do is find the lowest common denominator, or LCM. If you haven't seen my video on finding the lowest common denominator, please be sure to do so. The link is in the description. The second thing we want to do is simplify. Awesome, so we have our two fractions, 3/4 and 1/16. We need to find a common denominator so we can add these two fractions easily. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our LCM. So we're just going to list out our multiples of 4, which are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Now we have to list our multiples of 16. So let's do that. We have 16, 32, 48, 64, and 80. Now, we look at our multiples of 4, and we look at our multiples of 16, and we find the lowest one they have in common. And if you guessed it, the lowest one they have in common is 16. So therefore, I need to get a common denominator of 16. And if you notice, 1/16 already has a denominator of 16, which means I just have to have a 16 for 3/4. I just have to change the 4 to a denominator of 16. So let's do that. We have 3/4 plus 1/16. In order to change the 4 to a 16, I have to multiply by 4. And if I multiply by 4 on the bottom, guess what I have to do on top? That's right, multiply by 4. So therefore, we can rewrite this as 12 over 16 plus 1 over 16. And if you remember from my previous video, when we have a common denominator, all we have to do is just add the numerator. So our bottom would stay the same as 16, 12 and 1 is 13. Our answer would be 13 over 16. Let's do another problem. So in this example, we have 2/5 plus 1/10, right? So the goal is to find a common denominator between 5 and 10. And it's always easier to get the lowest common denominator, or the LCM. So let's do that. Let's list our multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. And now let's list our multiples of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now we look at our multiples of 5, and we look at our multiples of 10, and we try to figure out the lowest one that they have in common. That will be our LCM. So what do you think our lowest common denominator would be? That's right, I thought I heard it somewhere back there. It's going to be 10. And if you notice, 1/10 already has a denominator of 10. Therefore, all I have to do is change 2/5 to have a denominator of 10. So let's do it. So I have 2/5 plus 1/10. I need this 5 to be a 10, so I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2. And if I multiply the bottom by 2, what do you think I have to do to the top? That's right, multiply the top by 2. So this fraction, I can rewrite this as 4 over 10 plus 1 over 10. And we know from the previous video that we're going to keep the denominator on the bottom when we have a common denominator. So my denominator would be 10. And then we just add the numerator. All we do is add 4 plus 1, and that'll be 5. And of course, this simplifies to 1/2. Let's do another problem. So now I have 1/4 plus 1/2. I need a common denominator between 4 and 2. So first, let's find the LCM, the lowest common denominator. I'm going to list my multiples of 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. Now I'm going to list my multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So now I look at my multiples of 4 and I look at my multiples of 2 and I try to find the lowest one that they have in common. And if you guessed it, it's going to be 4. So now I already have a denominator of 4 with 1/4. All I have to do is change 1/2 to have a denominator of 4. So let's do that. I'm going to rewrite the original equation. 1/4 plus 1/2. We want to change this to a 4. So therefore I have to multiply by 2. And if I multiply by 2 on the bottom, I have to multiply by 2 on the top. So therefore I have 1/4 plus 4 on the bottom, 2 on the top. They have a common denominator of 4. So my bottom is going to stay the same as 4. I'm going to add my numerator and I get 3.